Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I hope you are fine. So let's start with this lecture. In this we are actually continuing with the same method which is used for the design of liquid extraction system, and in which we measure or we calculate the number of stages. So that's called Hunter-Nash method. And you already know that we have started this method 2 days back, and yesterday we have discussed the first stage of this method in detail. So at the end I just started with the second stage of this method, so from there we will just continue today. So actually here the same objective, we are discussing in detail this method which is used for calculating number of stages of liquid extraction equipment, as well as this can provide you extract and raffinate composition. So before I just jump to that method, there is this only one slide which is actually about type 2 and type 1 system. So type 1 system, which you already know, for which we are designing this system, as well as same is applicable for type 2. So I told you that type 1 are those system in which solvent are partially miscible, while type 2 are those in which solvents are totally immiscible. So when you are looking for this, either a system is type 1 or type 2, sometime we have same liquids but they behave same three liquid. This is example from your book, you can read the name of those chemicals. So they behave differently at different temperature. For some temperature they behave like type 1, while for others they behave like type 2. If you look at these diagrams, out of these three, these two last two, these are actually at temperature of 34.5 degrees C and 45 degrees C. The same, all those three same chemical, they are behaving like type 1. This is type 1 system. And other one, this is type 2, in which you can see the diagram which I have already shown you, that they possess some diagram like this one provided here on the left. This is type 2. That's the same three solute as well as two other solvent. They are behaving differently at different temperatures. As well, how you can differentiate them, actually I told you, looking at diagram you can differentiate. Actually the main thing which is different in the diagram is type 1 system have a plate point. You know, the plate point is the one point which differentiate two sides of like raffinate and extract, and this also separate two phase region from the one phase region. So that plate point is available in type 1. You are discussing type 1 for last few days, so already you know these type of diagrams which are given on right side, these two. So while type 2 system do not have like plate point, so like this is the type 2 in which you can't see any plate point. There is no plate point in this diagram, but other two diagrams have, so they are type 1 systems. And I asked you few days back to remember these based on diagram. If you have to tell based looking at the diagram, ternary diagram, that which system is type 1 and which one is type 2, so you can differentiate. And now this point is very easy to remember, that type 1 have plate point while type 2 didn't have. Right, come to the topic which we were discussing, that was Hunter-Nash method. And in this method actually we said that there are actually few steps which are used for calculating the number of stages. And first one was construction 1, which is product composition point, which we have discussed in very detail yesterday. Then construction 2, in which operating point and the operating line from where we have to start today. And then there is type 3, in which tie line and equilibrium lines are constructed. And finally we go for stepping off stages. Actually when you will study this today, inshallah, stepping off stages, so you will see that actually we combine type this construction 2 and 3 while we are looking for stepping off stages. So although the method which is we are discussing here and the diagrams which we are using, they represent type 1, we have discussed yesterday that this is all being done for type 1, but same can be applied for type 2 system, which are immiscible solvent systems. Construction 1, I actually discussed this yesterday in very detail, in which we said that they are somehow similar to the method which you have already studied for partially miscible systems from last week. That was using ternary diagram, in which what you do actually, you are provided with something feed and solvents, and you have to locate the mixing point inside diagram, and then you draw a tie line for location of extract and raffinate, and you just conclude, or you look for the composition from the diagram. Extract and raffinate composition is found from the diagram. But yesterday we discussed, because here we are dealing with more than one stage system actually, because we are looking for number of stages and they are definitely more than one. So for such system there is a bit difference. There are not small, there are some significant differences as compared to one stage system, in which you can very easily locate extract and raffinate. And we started with one system in which you saw that how you will locate actually raffinate point and extract point on the diagram. So just go through that lecture, in which construction 1 is detailed explained. Now the point where I just stopped yesterday, and that was construction 2. So as I said at the end of last lecture, that in construction 1 you have seen that many steps are common, or the points are similar, as you have already seen for one stage system. But from this construction 2 point, we are going to start something new which you didn't see before this in liquid extraction, and that's the location of operating point as well as operating lines. So let's start with this. What is this? And construction, one thing, if you have forgot, construction mean actually to draw something like construction 1. In that actually we have drawn various lines, various points yesterday on the ternary diagram as well. Today we have to do same for this second construction. Actually we have to draw some more lines, some more points we have to locate. So actually when you look at any number of stages, any system is given to you for liquid extraction, as we have seen yesterday that we were given some common system, in which actually this system you have already seen, in which there are number of stages and they are numbered from 1 to n capital, like there is in between some stage which is called with n small, represented with n small. So you have seen that the feed are main streams entering or leaving to each stage are named based on their compositions, like feed is entering to first plate, and the stream which leaves from this, and which is something say rich in carrier, that's called raffinate, as leaving from here as well. Some extract stream coming from stage 2 is entering to this, because this is counter system, counter current system, so counter flow system, in which feed will enter from one side and extract will enter from the opposite end. So and the extract stream is leaving from here, extract 1, which was named as this, that is the final extract stream after n stages. So this already explained to you, you know these terminologies, you are aware about this nomenclature. So actually we can apply this material balance around the group of stages from feed end, and they can be written in the form of difference. What does that mean? Let's look at the material balance. Just consider only one stage of the system. For example, if you have to apply the material balance, so can you apply the material balance on this first stage? I just do this please quickly. Apply the material balance. Actually you can see here there is no reaction, no accumulations, just feeds are entering and leaving from here, streams are actually entering and leaving. So overall you can see in this diagram there are two streams entering to this system, that is feed stream as well as E2, and two are leaving, one is extract 1 and other is raffinate 1. So if you write the material balance, you will write input is equal to output, and simply what you can write here on the first stage, if apply the material balance, it will be F plus E2, because this F plus E2 are entering and RE and E1 are leaving from this system. Now just we can rewrite it in some other way, like you can rearrange this, and what you will get actually here, you can write something like this, F minus E1. Suppose I just rearrange, feed stay here and I bring like E1 here, and then E2 move to the other side. Overall what you see here, and that we have rearranged them in such a way like we are writing something, you can just remember by this way, that something rich in carrier, because feed contains carrier, minus something rich in the solvent, and then again on the other side we have also rearranged in the same way, because raffinate, you know, raffinate is rich in carrier minus something which is rich in extract actually, and these differences are actually equal to something called P. We are giving a name of P, and P is called a difference point or a stream or difference stream. This is called different point or a difference stream. So for any stream where you apply the balance and finally rewrite the equation in the form such that you write the terminology like flow of something which is rich in carrier, like feed which is rich in the carrier, minus flow of something which is rich in solvent, that will be equal to P. Each of these term is actually equal to P, this difference term, like here this F minus E1 as well this R1 minus E2, they are equal to P. Understand? So this was balance on only one unit. Let's we write just for example, if you have to write the balance on E2, can you write stage 2? That's the easy one, like it will be like R1 plus E3, these two are entering, so input is R1 plus E3, that will be equal to outlet, like that will be something E2 plus R2, these two are leaving, and then just you will rearrange again in the form of something rich in the carrier minus something rich in extract. So you can rearrange them and they will be also equal to P. Overall we write here balance like this was on individual stage, which I have shown to you either on one unit or only next second unit. But suppose if you have to write this balance on more than one unit, suppose we just consider that we have to write balance on stage 1 to n, or for example you can consider it for stage 1 to 2, you can write balance overall, like you are considering these two stages, so you will draw the boundary around this, that this is complete system, and overall you can write which streams are entering and which are leaving, then in between stream will be ignored. So similar we are doing here, from stage 1 to n, if I apply the balance, what will happen, you know, if I draw the boundary here around 1 to n, you see this is n. Here I will just draw the boundary, because when we apply the material balance we specify some boundary. There was one stage, so I didn't draw the boundary, but here number of stages, so in order to differentiate it we can draw the boundary. Overall look at this, this is your system. Now you have to apply the material balance on this. So which streams are entering? Feed is entering to the system, and one other stream which is entering to the system which is rich in the solvent, that is En plus 1. So same as written here, entering input is equal to now output. You see output is one is Rn and other is E1, so you can see here Rn plus E1, they are written. And if now I have to write it in the form of something difference point, so what you will do, you have to rearrange it in such a way that you get something like feed rich stream minus extract rich stream, because here is even you can see this is extract, not extract, extract is actually solvent rich stream. So you have to write something carrier rich stream, carrier is the solvent which is available in the feed, so carrier rich stream minus solvent rich stream. So how you can do this, if you write it like F minus E1 is equal to, this will become equal to P. As well, if you write something like Rn on the other end, on this side it will be like Rn minus En plus 1, this will be equal to P. So based on this you can see that either you apply the balance on any of the individual stages inside the system, or on the whole system, or some up to some specific limit, like here we are applying from balance 1 to n small. So they all are equal to P, that's called operating point or difference point. So like if I apply balance for same here which I have told you, like for any single stage or the number of stage, the difference will be equal to P, and that's constant. So if I apply, just look here, if I apply balance on from stream 1 to n capital, I just see whole system. If I apply the whole system, like I have n capital number of stages, so you just apply balance on this system. Now if you apply balance on this system, so what you will see, which stream is entering, feed is entering, and as well as solvent is entering. So it will be like F plus S, and is equal to what is leaving from here, output is actually Rn plus E1. So now just rearrange this again to get P. How you can get P? Actually this is E1, so it will be like F minus E1. Then on the other end you will have is equal to Rn minus S. So same is written here, provided to you, like F minus E1, and that's equal to Rn minus S is equal to P. As well, here I have applied balance on any other in between stages, so any of these you can write, they will be equal to P, because these two are equal to P, all other are equal to P, so either you are applying balance on one or n number of stages, you can write them equal to P, and that's the difference point or operating point. So overall you can conclude that difference in the quantity between raffinate leaving a stage, as I told you that this difference is something which is rich in carrier, so that's we call it raffinate most of the time, except this is feed. Actually feed is also rich in the carrier, so that's something due to this I am just not calling it only raffinate, because you guys can get confused with this, that this is feed, how it is raffinate. So just consider something which is rich in carrier minus something which is rich in like solvent, as we have said, like F minus E1 is equal to P, or sometime like he has applied here, these R1 and E2 are written in from stage 2. If apply balance on stage 2, what you will get, actually just look, if you apply only balance on this stage 2, what you can get, this is stage 2, just apply balance on this stage 2, so you will get something, it will be like R1 plus E3, and that will be equal to R2 plus E2. So now rearrange it in the form of something which is rich in carrier minus something rich in solvent, so it will be like R1 minus E2. Due to this he has written here that like you can get the difference of R1 E2 and all other many are shown here. Now you can get easily this idea that they will be constant, this difference will be constant. So where does this help us, or where it is going to help us, we will look in next slides. Up to here at least you should have the concept that this difference point Rp is constant for any stage if I apply the material balance and rearrange the equation in some specific order which I have told you. So one thing you can observe while look at this in the diagrams, that this similar like mixing point or difference points also lie on a line through the points involved. Like if you remember, mixing point was a point which lie on the line which is connecting feed and solvent. You remember this feed and solvent, you have seen for many diagrams up to here. So if I have to apply, this is my M point, so this is lying on F and S line, solvent and feed line. So similarly he is telling us that P will also lie, it is not necessary that it will lie in the middle, it can lie on the any end, but from here you can see that the they points, all these points like feed as well as solvent and M, they lie on the same line. So similarly all the points which are applied here in the P equation, they will also apply on some line. It is not necessary that all these will lie on the one line, because they are different composition, so definitely they will be lying at various points. But if I just look, suppose F, E1 and P, I just take this only these three, like F1 minus F minus E1 as well as P. So here you can see this is F minus E1 and P. If I just take these out of this, you can see there are 3 points, one is F, other is E1, other is P. So these F, E1 and P, they will lie on the same line. So somehow it is similar to that as you have in the form of M. M, how you get calculated M? If you remember, M was equal to something F plus S, remember, feed plus solvent, they give you mixture actually. So similar, if I just rearrange these equations like this, you have F minus E1 is equal to P. So can we rearrange it something if we get in the form of positive sign, like we have the equation for mixture. So overall you can see that here you can rearrange it and maybe you can get something like F is equal to E1 plus P. Is it okay? This one. So here now this becomes something, the equation like which we will have for M. So like as M used to lie in between, so here it's mean F will also lie in between somewhere. So on the other end, maybe if you rearrange it in the form of E1, so E1 will be equal to something f plus p, so this will also be lying on the same line, maybe in between, if f now will be on the other end. So let's look at this further. So as you remember, or as you know already, m, where does m lie? M, you know, this is the mixture which we have to separate into two phases, which is raffinate and extract. So its mean mixture lie usually in the two phase region inside the diagram. So that's lie inside the diagram, triangular diagram. M always lie inside triangular diagram because this is the mixture which you have to separate, so definitely it will lie inside the diagram. And between the two end points, what are those two end points? Actually those two endpoints are like feed and the solvent. If you look at the main endpoints of that line on which M is lying, so it is between feed and the solvent. So but P, as we said, this is somehow similar to something M, but P usually lie outside the triangular diagram. Usually at the end of this discussion I will tell you something else, but at this time at least remember that P usually lie outside the triangular diagram along an extrapolation of the line through a pair of passing stream points. And what are those passing stream points? Actually passing stream points mean our points like f and e1 is one pair of passing stream, like rn and s as you have seen, that is another, and many others you have seen like r2 e1 r1 and e2, as well as you have r2 and e3 and many others. So those are all pairs. So they all are equal to P, so that P will lie outside the diagram, and that diagram will be actually connected through P to the other points. So in order to locate this difference point, suppose we have to locate this P, where does P lie and how we can find it. So P actually for locating the P you have to draw two straight line. And what are those two straight line? If we apply the balance on overall system, you remember that you will get two pair, one is f1 f and e1 and other is srn. Just to go back and look here, when I have shown you this, here you can see in this slide on the top here, they are in bold face, this one and this one, initial f minus e1 and rn minus s is equal to P. And I told you in the last slide that how you will get these actually when you apply balance on the whole system from stage 1 to stage n capital N. So you can get this. So it's mean when you are applying balance on the whole system you can get these points. So I can get this pair as well as this pair when apply balance on the whole system. So when I have these, I can draw the two lines, straight lines, which are drawn through the passing stream points. They are called passing stream points, one pair is e1 and f and other pair is s and rn. So when you apply or you draw the two straight lines and at the end they join them, meaning these two lines are extrapolated until they intersect each other, and when they will intersect, that point will be actually operating point. So up to here just remember that M lies inside the diagram, but P can lie outside, and most of the time it is outside the diagram. And in order to locate the P, at least you should have two pair of these points, and those pair can be easily obtained if you apply the balance on a whole system. And you remember, you know already somehow before this, when we have done with the construction one, you remember that you know what is the amount of F as well as or you have located actually before this in the construction one, you have located all these on your diagram. You have located feed, you have located solvent, you have located E1 and Rn on your diagram. So these points are very easy. Before this coming to the P point, you have already located them. So these can be used for drawing the lines which you extrapolate and read to some point which is called P. So let's look at this diagram, how you will locate P. Now as I told you, this is the same diagram which we were using yesterday, in which we have three A, S and C. Just to recall, A was the solvent which was 24% in the system, if you remember, in the feed, and C was the carrier which was 76%, and there was solvent which was 100%. And we have done some calculation related to them. We calculated actually M, and then by using that M, later we have also located Rn and E1 on the system, as we drawn one line from Rn which was passing through M, and finally you read to E1. This is all which you have done yesterday actually. in construction 1. So now you can see, as I told you, that actually in your diagram 4 points are already available. What are those 4 points? Like you can see, here is a feed point, F is there, solvent point is there, E1 is there, and Rn is there. It's mean we can draw easily those operating lines from which we will get P. So first, as you have seen in the last slide, that he said you should have something F and E1 pair. F minus E1 give you the P difference point. As well, on the other hand, you remember that you have something which is called Rn minus S. So that you also have this point is also located, and that will also go to P. So let's look at first F and E1 pair. If I draw a line which is passing through F and E1 and extend it to some point, so just look at this red main line which is appearing here. I have drawn it for you. Overall, you will start from E1 point, you will place the ruler, and you will draw a straight line which is passing actually through these 2 points, F and E1. So this red line is drawn, and we have drawn a extrapolated it outside our diagram. That line, straight line, will be drawn. Now other pair which you should have at least to locate the P, that is Rn and S, and you can see here S is given as well as Rn is given. So you can draw another line which is passing through S and Rn. And as he mentioned that you have to extrapolate. Sometime maybe you can draw a line and you can finish here or at any point, but actually we have to finish at the point where at least they intersect each other. That is the P point, which is called operating point. And these lines which you have drawn from E1 to F and up to P, that is called operating line, and the other line is also called operating line. So any line which you will draw, they all are called operating lines. As you know that we also can draw the lines for other pairs which are inside. Suppose you can draw the line for like E2 and R1, similarly R2 and E3 and so on. So if you will draw any of those lines, they will definitely pass through same point P. As you have seen, these two are intersecting. Suppose I draw any other line, if I have those point, if I have located like E2 and R2, R1, any other point, so all they will be passing through same point P. Due to this is called operating point, or this operating lines are used for determining the difference point. Actually after this you can just remove these. If you just use lead pencil and you draw the lines, you locate this P, because P is little helpful to us when we are going to calculate number of stages. So you have in this way you have to locate the P. So RP, you have seen that you should have some information, and that information is you should have information about some points which already you have done in construction 1. So when you have those points, just what you have to do is to draw the lines, and from where we got they will give us some difference on something from material balance. So further here you can see that actually straight lines drawn through points for any other pair, as I was telling you, you can draw for any other pair, and that will also must pass through this point P. You can try this for other points later. When you have located those points in the diagram we will do, so they will be all passing through this point P. So this point P becomes an operating point, as we already named it. Point P is called operating point. All those lines drawn are called operating lines, and they are passing through or drawn through the pair of the points. They are, one is rich in carrier and other is rich in solvent. The difference point has properties similar to the mixing point. I already explained to you in last slide somewhere that if you can write it somehow similar like mixing point. So F minus E1 is equal to P, and that can be written as F is equal to E1 plus P. So it's mean this F is now in between somewhere E1 and P, as you remember from that M was equal to F plus S, and M was located in between F and S. So similarly now F will be located inside somewhere between E1 and P, and you can easily see from the diagram, yes, F is located in between P and E1, and similarly this Rn is also located for, if we rearrange this equation, what you will get, Rn will be equal to S plus P, and this mean Rn is located in between this. So this is how it works. So mean this somehow when you have drawn all this stuff, maybe sometime you need the values or you have to calculate, maybe here for calculating number of stages it is not needed, but sometime if you are looking for this stuff, mean you can calculate their ratios, their values by using inverse lever arm rule. And what is that, like if you are looking for E1, so E1 over F is equal to, actually this is written on based on some stuff from the last slide. You know that F is equal to E1 plus P, we have just seen here. F is equal to E1 plus P, or similarly this equation can be rearranged somehow. If I just rearrange this for E1, so it will be like something for E1 if you have to write, so it will be F minus P. So here I think there is some small mistake in this slide, so overall it is F minus P, it should be F minus P, but okay, but actually you have to see this equal to E1 over F is equal to, based on lengths, actually you can measure the lengths using ruler, and E1 over F is equal to length of Fp over length of E1P. This is not being used here in any calculation, but just if you have to use, this is how the inverse lever arm rule works. Actually E1 over F, they are giving something which is inverse to them, because if they were direct, so F should have something directly proportional to length of Fp, but now it's inversely proportional, so here we are applying actually inverse lever arm rule. Overall operating point P, yes, as I told you that most of the time operating point P usually lies outside the diagram, outside triangular diagram, but as I said that this can lie at any other point, like suppose F point P lies on the feed and raffinate side of the diagram, operating point lies on the feed or raffinate side. As you have seen in this diagram, I mean you can easily see where does P lie. Yeah, it is lying on the raffinate side, because you know this is plate point, and on the right side you have a carrier, and carrier is something rich in the feed, so it is on feed side or raffinate side. On the other side there is a solvent, and where extract is lying, that's called extract side. So here point P is lying usually outside diagram, and on which side it is actually on the raffinate side, but this can lie on any side as well as inside or outside diagram. This all depends on relative amounts of feed, solvent and slope of tie lines. All these affect the location of P. So sometime you will, in some cases you will observe that P is lying on extract side, even P can come close to the diagram, P can go away, or P can be somehow inside even the diagram, but most of the time it is outside. So that's not necessary always to have it on raffinate side, it can also be located on extract side. It depends on your composition as well as tie lines. So up to here we have discussed actually construction 2, in which if I briefly summarize it, in construction 2 the main purpose, just only purpose, is to locate P, and P is called operating point. That is also given the name of difference point, because that we obtained with the help of some difference. And from where did that difference come? If you apply the material balance on any stage in your LLE system, or you apply material balance on number of stages, what you will get? You will get something. If you rearrange those equation and rearrange in such a way that there is a term which is pair of two terms, and like F and E1. So if you take the difference of the term, something rich in the carrier minus something rich in solvent, they are equal to P, and P is called operating point or difference point. So when we have got some points like F and E1, S and Rn, so these four can be used. Actually these are the two pair of these points. So these two pairs can be used to draw the straight lines, and those lines intersect at one single point, and that is called P. And we have seen that all other lines are, we have observed it, we have discussed it, that all other lines drawn through all other pair of these points will pass through P. So this is all about this one. As we have seen at the end, we have discussed it that P lies outside the diagram. Sometime it can lie inside, even sometime it can be located on the extract side, sometime it is located on raffinate side. So it is not hard and fast to have it on always on raffinate side and outside the diagram. So it is somewhere even shifted from inside outside, and all depends on some conditions of feed, solvent, their composition, and tie lines. And tie lines, you know, is coming from equilibrium data, and that is dependent on temperature. So that's all about construction 2. Now let's jump toward construction 3. And in construction 3, actually you are going to draw tie lines and some equilibrium lines. So as you remember already, the tie lines are drawn based on the equilibrium data. So what we are going to do, because you know, we are drawing all these lines on the similar diagram which from where we started yesterday at construction 1. I told you that for construction 1 the first point was to locate feed, solvent, and mixing point inside diagram. So in order to locate them, I told you that you should have triangular diagram in which you should already have binodal curve and tie lines. So what does these tie lines mean now? These are actually something extra tie lines which are not already available in the system. If we have to apply, sometime, you know, I told you that sometime you have to draw some extra tie line if you are looking for some information, like in single stage you used to look for extract and raffinate. So what you used to do, you have located or you have drawn extrapolated tie line. So this you can consider that we are going to talk something about extrapolated tie lines, as well as equilibrium lines. We will be talking about those. So look here, the third type of construction actually involve the tie line that define the equilibrium curve, or that are located or connected the two connecting the 2 points extract and raffinate on the equilibrium curve. And tie lines, they are dividing this system overall, you can say that into raffinate and extract by the plate point, or actually plate point is the point. Yesterday we said that this point is actually separating of raffinate and extract. Sometime on the one side of this you will have raffinate, and on the other side you will extract, you will have extract. In our system which we are discussing, on the right side of this plate point you have raffinate. This P is for plate. So on the left side you have extract. So there are few lines, the dotted line, which connect some points from extract side to raffinate side at equilibrium, and they were called tie lines. For diagram of type 1 system, plate point is the composition of two equilibrium phases that become one phase. What does this mean? If you remember the one stage system from last week, you remember there was one tie line for which data was given, and that was 41.5% ethanol in both solvent. That was 41.5%. if you remember, that was I think table 3 or something. So that was 41.5 for both, and I told you that this is actually tie line, but that is actually only one point, and that point was plate point. So he is describing the same here, that for type 1 diagram the plate point is the composition of two equilibrium phases. Actually this was composition of ethylene glycol in furfural, and this was ethylene glycol in water. So for both there is only one point, so that's the same point, and it will be only one point, and that's the plate point. So that's the point located in type 1 diagram, which actually separate and raffinate and extract. And as we have discussed in the start of today's lecture, that type 1 diagrams have plate point, but others do not have plate. Type 2 do not have plate point. So typically a diagram will not contain all tie lines which you need. Actually later we are going to see that sometime you need some tie lines, or you have to extrapolate some tie lines which are not available inside your diagram. So if there are only few tie lines, based on the given data, you can only draw. Actually we draw the tie lines based on the equilibrium data. Initially few tie lines at least you can draw 4, 5, 6 based on the given data points. So sometimes they are not sufficient actually, especially when you are going to calculate the number of stages. So in that case what you have to do, you have to look for something called interpolation method. As we have discussed somehow while we were studying one stage systems, that how you can interpolate, but here there are some more sophisticated methods for interpolation of these tie lines. So what you have to do, there are two methods actually in which you have to draw some parallel lines, and based on the parallel lines are actually something CB and AC, they are the sides of triangle. So in first method there are actually two methods of interpolation. In first method you have to draw some parallel line, and those lines are parallel to CB and AC. What are there will be something for starting point as well as some ending point for these lines. I will just discuss. In the second method also you have to draw those parallel lines, and now they are a bit different, like they are along AB and AC, and in this case first method they are along CB and AC. CB and AC, let's look at these diagram here. You remember that A, B and C are those points which are located inside diagram, and you already know how they are. Sometimes actually he is talking about here these A, B and C, like C, A and B, but you know that our diagram was different for our system which we were studying. A was on the top and C was on one side and one side was S, but actually he is telling you that if you draw the diagram, actually C here indicates solute, A indicate one of the solvent and B indicate another solvent. I think he has discussed here inside this section of the book. Just kindly look at that, what does A, B and C state. C is definitely solute, B and A, one will be carrier and actually one will be solute, and same you can see here A, B and C in this diagram. So actually he is talking about these now. You see there is side AB, BC and CA, and similarly are AC as well. You can see here A, B, BC and CA. So these are three sides. So he is talking about this CB and AC or AB and AC. You have to draw the lines. Actually I'm not going to discuss all these here in detail. I'm not going to draw how they are drawn, but quickly will tell you. If you look at this diagram is first method. For first method what he said, you have to draw the lines parallel to side CB and AC. Just look, this is CB side and other is AC side. If I have to draw the line, what I will do, this is one tie line which was already present in the system with these complete line. You can see this curve already, you know that this is binodal curve. Now there are inside some lines which are usually dotted, but here they are solid lines which are like from, you can see one from here D to E, that is actually tie line which is connecting extract and raffinate side. So this when I have to draw these line along the CB and AC, so what I have to do, so I have to start those lines from the end point of these tie lines. One is end point is E and other is D. So when I have to start from here, you can see if I go for CB, this is CB, so one line drawn parallel to CB is this dotted line which is starting from D and ending at somehow G. So this is D, G line. As well you can see one line which you have to draw along AC as in this method. So this is along AC, this side is AC. So if I have to draw this line now along AC, so this line is actually E to F, this line. So now you can see these two dotted line are intersecting at one point, so I will just collect this point, that is H. Just ignore this line at the moment. Similarly you will go to other next tie line and you will also draw the line along CB as well as along AC, and they will also intersect at some point. Then next tie line and they will intersect at some point, and then final, and overall you can see that there are now various points you will have located. Based on these various points, what you can do, if you just join them and then finally connect them with plate point, this will be a one curve somehow. And now using this curve I can apply or I can get other tie lines inside system if I need. Just what I have to do, I have to reverse this method. Initially what I was doing, I was drawing lines parallel to CB and AC and they were giving some point. Now I can just start from here and like overall from this line, suppose I just select this point, I draw one line which is parallel to like AC and other line which is parallel to like CB. So what you can see here, if I just draw, now I'm just reversing which I have done so far. So what now you can see they are intersecting your equilibrium line at some point. So now if I just join these 2 points, I will just join with this color. Overall if I just join these points like from here to here, now what you can see here, this blue color line shows that this is another tie line here. What I did, I just reversed the process. When I have got this line overall one curve, I can start from any point on this curve. I will just reverse the process. I will draw some lines back from this curve to the equilibrium curve. One will be parallel to AC, this line is like parallel to AC, and one will be parallel to like CB, as we have done already meanwhile we were looking for this curve. So when you have located those points on curve, just join them and you will get this tie line. This is one method. Other method is second method, in which you can see you have to adopt somehow similar method, but now here you have to draw parallel line to A, B and AC, and in these also you will be locating some intersecting point, like one intersecting point is here, other is here, and so on. So overall if you just join them with the plate point, you will get the curve, and from this curve now you can start, you can draw lines to any of those parallel to AB and AC, and you will be hitting some points on side your this binodal curve, and if you join them you will get again your tie lines. So this is the way in which actually you can extrapolate or you can interpolate, actually you are interpolating the tie lines inside other tie lines, or by using already available tie lines we have deduced some system, you have draw some curve, and by using that curve you can reverse it, you can go back to the same phenomena, and you can get actually extra tie lines. So this is how it works, and sometimes you have to you need to draw these tie lines if they are already sufficient enough, so no need to do it again, but if you have to draw, this is the way. And by the way, at the end of this lecture I will just connect there is one video of few minutes, 4-5 minutes, which have explained these method in detail, like how these points I already explained to you, but still if you need more clarification, just watch that 4-5 minutes video, and it will be more clear to you that how this curve was formed, if it was quick here you didn't get any point, and how those points are again located back, how you are again going to back to draw some tie line which was not already available in the system, so you will get more better idea. So up to here we are done with construction 3. Now just recall the first slide from where you started, first slide of Hunter-Nash method, in which we said that there are 3 construction, and when you are done with these 3 construction, now you can actually look for number of stages. So we are at that step or that point, so let's locate those stages. Right guys, you have done with the construction of 3 stages up to here. Now as I told you that when you are done with the 3 stages, you have to start with stepping of stages. Now we can draw the number of stages which are needed for the system, so let's look at those, that how you can draw the number of stages on the diagram, which is already has gone through these construction 1, 2 and 3 various stages, various steps. So now you are at that point where you can get the number of stages in liquid extraction equipment. So stepping of stages, to step out or to look for the stages. So if I have to look for the stages, how they can be located, actually they can be located by using equilibrium stages, or these are called equilibrium stages, actually means stages involved in the system. They are stepped off, or they can be located with the help of alternative use of tie lines and operating lines. Only I have to use tie line and operating line, and I can easily get this which is stage, equilibrium stages. So how you can locate up to here, this is the diagram which already you are aware of. So in this system we have A, C and S, and we have located in the last section we have discussed this, that it will contain binodal curve and it will contain some points on this, and which points were necessary. Actually for P we said that you should have F, E1, S and Rn, and using these 2 pair of the points P was located with the help of operating lines. So now we have to look for stages here. So in order to look for stages, first of all you should know that suppose your system has only one stage. So just tell me if system is at contains only one stage, so what will be or even for first stage, even if it contained more number of stages, still from the diagram which was indicative of number of stages. So just look for stage 1, what are two components which are in equilibrium with each other, which are leaving this system. You remember that here feed enters as well as here something which is rich in the solvent is entering. Just for example, we call it like it was I think E2 from that diagram, and here what was leaving from this system was that R1 and E1. So you know that R1 and E1 are in equilibrium with each other, you know this. So E1 and R1 are in equilibrium with each other, and when we say they are in equilibrium in each other, actually they can be connected to each other through tie line. They are connected with each other through tie line. So overall, if you know that this is binodal curve, on one side there is E1 is located, so on the other side there will be R1, and they will be connected through the tie line, and they will be in equilibrium with each other. So this will indicate that this system has one stage, like this indicates one stage, that in this stage something extract and raffinate are leaving and they are in equilibrium with each other. So here I can draw a tie line from point E1 to equilibrium phase R1 if they didn't exist already, and that's actually construction 3. Construction 3 mean in the step 3 you have seen that how to draw extra tie lines, or if you know if you have to go for new tie line which is not available in the system, how that can be located. So now let's look here, either there is some line which is joining E1 and R1 in the system. Just look at the diagram. There is one point called E1, but we don't have any point R1 inside diagram, but that can be located. How it can be located? You know that E1 and R1 will be at equilibrium, and when they are in equilibrium, they are an equilibrium line which are tie lines, so they can be connected with the help of tie line. So either E1 is lying on any tie line. No, you can see that it is in between two tie lines. So when it is in between these two tie lines, we can draw because here we don't have any already existing tie line. So either it's better way to follow the construction 3 exact method and draw here tie line, but overall we can just draw tie line with the gas that is passing through these two lines, as we have done for one stage system already when we were drawing tie line passing through M, when we were locating E and R, if you remember. And I have explained to you in the start of the lecture at the start of this week, in that I explained that if M was located inside diagram somewhere between the tie line, how you have to draw a new tie line which was connected E and R. So similarly you can see here E1 is somehow located somehow between two tie lines, but it is more close to the upper tie line, so we can draw a new tie line which is in between these two tie line, but that will be following more or less trend of upper tie line, and they are connected to the other end of raffinate. So here there is when it will connect or it will touch to the if I just draw this line which is starting from E1 and it is in between two tie lines, and finally it will cut the binodal curve on raffinate side, and that point is called R1, because you know that E1 and R1 are in equilibrium to each other. So this shows here I have located one stage. For this system, actually you have to draw the tie lines in similar way or equilibrium line between extract and raffinate unless you reach to Rn, and you see Rn is quite below this R1. It means still there are more stages inside this system. This system contain more than one stages. So let's look for that next stage. If and this now up to here you have drawn one stage, that is E1 to R1. Now let's look at next. If I have to look for this now next stage, how I can locate? You know that if just recall the diagram, there was stage 1 and then there is stage 2. So what were entering and exit stream names for this? Here it was R1 entering to this, and if you remember because this is stage 2, R2 will be leaving from here, and then there was something entering to this which was called as E3, because this is coming from stage 3 and E2 is leaving from here. And similarly for first you can also write here something entering and leaving, no that's not needed to me, so I'm just skipping. So overall you can see here now for this next stage you can see that there is R2 and E2 are actually living and they will be in equilibrium to each other from this stage 2, as like in stage 1 E1 and R1 are living, they were in equilibrium, so it shows one stage is there, but still we didn't reach to the Rn point. Due to this I told you that you have to locate for other, and in order to locate E2 and R2, now what I have to do, I have to draw some other line. And how I can locate that point or how I can find that? So you remember from the initial P point difference that there will be something difference between R1 and E2. Okay, if you remember, if initially when I applied the balance on the first stage, what was that? Actually I will write here, so that because here we have to draw the line. On the first stage when applied balance and rearrange the equation, there was something called F minus E1 is equal to just recall the balance on first stage, so that was equal to R1 minus E2, and they were equal to actually P. Each of these is equal to P. So now you can see from here that if somehow I can locate E2, and then as I told you that you will look for definitely E2 and R2, they will be in equilibrium. So from this diagram up to here, the point where I have reached, actually you know that I can locate somehow E2. How E2 can be located? You know that first for F1 and E1, the line passing through this F and E1 actually join or connect to the P point. So same can be used for location of E2, because now you have R1 as well as you have P. If you construct the line, construction 2 was actually to draw the line of P. So construction 2 requires that E2 will lie, or it should lie at the intersection of straight line that is drawn through points R1 and P. If I just draw the line which is passing through P and R1, because these are 2 points, and when there are 2 points we can draw a straight line through them, so that will intersect our equilibrium curve or binoodal curve, or I told you that they call it like miscibility curve. So on extract side, if I just extrapolate this line starting from P, passing through R1 and extract it to the extract side, I just extrapolate it to extract side, so this will cut extract side on E2. So let's look at this, how it appears. This green line you can see from where I started it from point P, and then this passes, it is just started from here, and then it is passing through R1. Here it somewhere R1 is located actually. This is almost passing through R1, so you have to draw exactly with the help of ruler, and that will definitely pass through this, and it cuts on the other side, extract side, and that point is called E2. This is how I can locate E2 on the system. So one thing, just remember when we started this stepping of stages, he said that you have to use alternatively operating 2 or construction 2 and construction 3. Actually construction 2 he was calling like operating lines. You have to use operating line and tie lines alternatively to locate your number of stages. As we started initially with this one line was drawn already from E1, F and P, so we just drawn a tie line connecting E1 and R1. Then we jump back to again like line which is passing through P and next R1 point, and we have located now E2. It's mean next step is now to go for tie line, and that tie line will be connecting what will be in equilibrium with E2. You remember that from stage 2 I have shown you in the last slide here. I have explained that E2 and R2 they will be in equilibrium, but none of them was available inside diagram. So first of all we have located E2, and how we have located E2? Actually by using this operating point, because E2, R1 and P will be lie on one line, so by drawing that line we have located now E2. So next step is to look for R2. So R2 can be located by using construction 3, because E2 and R2 they will be in equilibrium with each other and they can be connected with the help of tie line. So just look, either E2 is located on any tie line. Yes, this is more or less closed at or that's very close to one of the tie lines. So here from here E2 is just starting, so you can draw a line which is drawn towards the raffinate side. So I just draw this red color straight line which is starting from the raffinate and extract end and intersecting on the raffinate end, and where it will intersect, that point is called R2. So now here E2 and R2, they are in equilibrium with each other and they are connected with the help of tie line. But still you didn't reach to Rn because R2 is still away from Rn. It's mean our system up to here contain 2 stages, but there are more than 2 stages. So what I have to do now, alternatively, after tie line you go for again operating line. So how I can connect or how I can locate next operating line? That there will be some pair now again, and that pair will contain R2 minus E3, they will be equal to P, and when they are equal to P, R2 E3, so it's mean R2 E3 and P will be located on same line. And you have 2 of these points in your diagram already. R2 is there and P is there. So what you have to do, you have to just draw a straight line starting from P, passing through R2, and if you just cut it on the equilibrium line or this binodal curve on extract side, so this will give you something called E3. Let's look at this in next slide. So here from R2, E3 is located with the operating line passing through P, R2, and then it cut extract side on E3. So let's look, we draw here one line and that's already drawn here for you. That's actually connected from P2, and maybe if I just enlarge this, you can see that started from P2, actually line blue line, you can see that started from P2, that is passing through R2, this intersection point of R2, and if we draw this straight line, this will cut extract side on extract side binodal curve, and there the point will be located which is called E3. Now this is again mistake here, it is E3. So overall this is E3. And now we have located when E3, that E3 will be in equilibrium with something which is called R3, so they can be connected with the help of tie line. E3 and R3, I can connect them with the tie line. So how? Either just look, this E3 is located on any tie line. No, here is no tie line, so what you have to do, you have to use construction 3, but we are just going to draw a tie line here. So if I have to connect this E3 with the system with the help of tie line, you can see that there is one last tie line in the system here, and which is at one end it is close to 10%, but on the other end it is somehow close to 5%, its slope is decreasing. So overall you can just draw a line following this same tie line, and that is connecting this E3 with R3. Actually the point where it is connected with this, that is, now you can see that if you have reached to actually Rn, now you can stop. So how many stages you have done here? Up to here, these actually the red lines which are your tie lines, which you have drawn new tie lines here in the system, they are indicating your stages. So these are actually 3 stages in this system. So that's actually the summary of this stepping of stages. So in this you can see that continuing in similar fashion mean like operating lines and tie line, operating lines and tie lines. So if you are just continuing in alternation between equilibrium tie line and operating line, the specified point R1 is reached or passed. Means sometime as we have reached here exactly, we are reaching to hopefully Rn in this system, but sometime you can pass, it's mean you will just reach, or your line will be joining below this Rn, so that's mean passed actually. So either it reaches, it joins that point, or just passes that point, then actually you have done with number of stages. So in this system, because after arranging for 3 stages, we have reached to actually Rn. So here E3 meets with Rn, and that will be indicative of R3, as I told you that that's R3, because E3 and R3 are in equilibrium with each other. So thus three-stage system. In this system, for this separation based on your given compositions as well as given specifications at the given temperature, 3 stages are needed in this liquid extraction equipment. By the way, here all these colorful lines I have drawn myself by using these lines in PowerPoint, but overall you can see there is one figure given in your book that's presented here. So these are the lines. Actually he has skipped some extra lines. Overall these are the lines which are connecting your points. E1 is connected with the R1 with the help of tie line. He has removed extra tie line actually from the system. He is just showing the stages tie lines and the equilibrium line. Overall here he is just presenting these operating line and your equilibrium line tie lines, as well as these operating line are shown in the system. And overall again here you can see that E1 is located are connected with R1, and then E2 is connected with R2, and then finally E3 is connected with Rn. So similar, he has also 3 stages, and our results are more or less comparable to this. So this is the way how you can calculate number of. So before just concluding this lecture, here, because you have to draw the tie lines, and this can become a bit difficult for you sometimes, so we will just look at another construction of these stages. So quickly I will go through that video, that's 3-4 minutes video, and I will show you for another system the lines are your stages are constructed in the similar manner, so that it becomes easy for you to understand this system. So let's look at that. Right from here you can see that we have one system, like, okay, let me tell you, it contains something IPA and water and ether. IPA is your solute and water and ether are solvent. So you are just separating it with these solvents. So in this system actually we are just starting from the step 2. Step 2 is actually in step 1 you have to draw the diagram and you have to locate mixing point as well as some other points which are your feed solvent as well, E1 and Rn. So based on that we have located for construction to P point P and then the next stuff. So just look here, as we have to locate for P, and you remember you have seen that I have told you here F minus E1 and that's equal to Rn minus S. So we have to use these and construct P here. So just look, he has pointed out based on his given compositions the solvent point, feed point, and there is extract E1 and raffinate from N stream. These were given for his system. So after locating these you see that he has located P, and after locating P you can even remove, as I told you that those lines are of no use to you when you have removed P, located P. So look here, this is your system in which there are N stages. As we have seen, it is the same system. So feed is entering and solvent is entering, and there are some extract E1 and Rn are leaving, and then there are some in between stuff. So now after this actually just look, our next purpose is to locate tie line and equilibrium lines, actually the same lines which we have drawn at the end. Last time we have seen alternative use of tie line and equilibrium line, or you can say operating line. Actually he is calling operating line as equilibrium lines. So tie line and operating lines are located. Now if you remember, first of all I told you that in the initial step what we did, we located R1 in the diagram. So how that was located, you know that E1 and R1 are in equilibrium with each other. So based on that a tie line was drawn from E1 to R1, and after this actually when you are done with this you were looking for E2. So that was located with the help of line which is passing from P to R1, and E2 will be located on that line. And this is the way now E2 and R2 are in equilibrium with each other. So you will just interpolate a tie line, and that is used here. E2 and R2 are located, and when they are located, now again you will look, because still you didn't reach to the Rn, so he has drawn another line to locate E3 in the system. And now when E3 is located, you know that you have to draw a line for E3 and R3. So overall you can just see here that he has connected E3 and R3. So based on this, how many stages are here? They are like similar to our system. There are 3 stages. So when these 3 stages are located, now you are done with your problem. And he didn't draw anything else, because now when he connected E3, it was connected with Rn, and when either we reach to Rn or we pass, mean we are done with this, we are below that point. So that's mean you will be done with the number of stages. You have calculated number of stages. So for this system, I mean there are 3 stages in which you have located E1, R1, then based on that you located E2, and then R3 and so on. So one thing here I wanna show you, just look at the diagram. I mean as he was drawing the lines, you can see from here, just look when he was looking for E2. Just look here, I mean what is difference from the case which we have discussed in our lecture. You have seen that R1 and P were located on same side. Actually here P point, operating point, is located on Refinet side. As I have told you that it is not necessary always to have P on Refinet side. So here this case which you are looking at this, this is the example of that P can be located even on extract side. So there is no problem. You will draw a line connecting R1 and P, and that will pass through E point, and here R1 and P line is passing through E2 actually in your system, in this system. And when you were drawing in your system, there actually you connected actually P and R1, and then P was located on the Refinet side. So in order to go for extract side, to locate the point on extract side, you have to extrapolate the line, you have to pass the line through whole system, and then you are going to the opposite side, that was extract side. So this is how it works. Overall, up to here we are done with the main calculation of number of stages. As I was talking about this, just look here in your lecture, you have seen that your operating point was located on main Refinet side. So when you were connecting the line passing from P to the R1, R2 and R3 or others, so you have to extrapolate this line towards this main extract side. But the case we were looking in the video, there P was located on extract side. So when you will join P and R, like R1, R2 or anything else, so they will definitely pass through this line on extract side. They will be cutting the line, and that will be your extract point. So at the end I will just advise you to go through all this stuff, and then try to solve unsolved problem. So if you are not doing so up till now, I will again advise from this point that you should do, because things are building up and then it will become difficult for you. So thank you so much. See you.